Okay, I think it's time to talk about misandry today. As you maybe noticed, I talk about things that are far beyond femdom. Femdom is just a range of fetishes. Men sexualize women's power, but do they truly want women in power? Oh my god, the rain, the wind. I hope it's not gonna get too strong and you still can hear me. So, I use femdom as a tool. Yeah, that's just like a set of games you play at the playground. And it's too easy, to use it against or for the benefits of a man. It depends on your intention. Because most men, they make their decisions with their genitals. I mean, sometimes you don't want to believe in that, but most men know that. If it's not about your safety, if it's not about when you have to be like super rational, most of the time you are driven by your genitals. Because when one head works, the other one cannot. And well, this is not good, this is not bad, this is just like a neutral fact. And femdom is fun, of course, but first of all, I'm a female supremacist. I believe in matriarchy, and I already explained the difference between patriarchy and matriarchy, and people still, they get so shocked and surprised. Oh my god, matriarchy, because they imagine matriarchy as the mirror of patriarchy, and they think that if matriarchy comes, then women will be doing the same things men have been doing to women. But women's power is not about that. It's not concentrated on hating men. It is concentrated on women's safety. It is about empathy, collaboration, decisions made, first of all, for women, for women's safety. And despite of my attentions, which I believe are pretty good, actually, I received some comments like, oh, you're just like an Andrew Tate. I didn't know this man. Like, I don't care that much about men, but thank you for letting me know. So, and this is the person who is blamed in misandry. This is the person who's blamed in misogyny, and we're gonna talk about it. It is interesting that some of these comments came from users who had a profile picture with a man kneeling before a woman, and it said female supremacy. So it's okay to sexualize female supremacy. It's okay to masturbate thinking about that. But when it comes to real life, oh my god, that's cringe. And that is fair. Not every sexual fantasy is supposed to be relevant and sane. But this sexual fantasy includes 50% of the population who's been oppressed for 1,000 years. So when men either sexualize the oppression, like rape, feminization, sissification, or they sexualize women's power. Some fetishes come to black doms only because they're black. You have to rule the world. And most of these doms I see online, they do not accept them. They speak against them. Because men, you don't do anything to end racism in real life, but you sexualize their black bodies. So I feel kind of the same here, honestly. So when men call me misandrist, I do not find it offensive, and I'm going to explain why. So first of all, let's define the difference between misandry and misogyny. The core of these two types of hate is not the same. They are actually pretty different. We've had misogyny for a very long time. Patriarchy is based on misogyny, and the instruments are law, religion, and violence. Femicide, to be particular. Here are some reasons of misogyny. Men's desire to control women, men's fear of women's power, but that's also not a rational fear. That's not a conscious fear, because men fear other men. They do not fear women, but they fear women's power subconsciously. They fear losing their own power. One more reason is men's sexual behavior. Like, if you don't sleep with a man, you're a slut. If you sleep with a man, you're a slut. You never know if just saying no is enough. Maybe he's gonna still take what he wants, because men do not see women as separate individuals. We do not have this body autonomy and safety. So men's sexual desires are stronger and more important than our safety. You can share in the comments down below what you think are the reasons of misogyny. But I want to speak mostly about reasons of misandry. It can be something like really, little in particular, when some girl was raised in a family where a mom hated men and she took it from her. But why does her mom hate men? Here we come for the main difference between misogyny and misandry. So the main reason of misandry is the reaction to misogyny. Again, misogyny generates misandry. It's not the oppressor's job to tell the oppressed one how to react to the oppression. Women have been sexually harassed, assaulted, catcalled, slut-shamed, raped, beaten, and killed by men. Violence has a gender. 90% of overall crimes are committed by men. And those women who are in prison for murdering someone, like 80% of them, are there for self-defense or as a type of revenge to men. Which is self-defense, because when you live with someone who beats you every day and one day you just kill them, is it revenge or is it self-defense? So as a woman, when you live in constant fear for your life and health, usually you have three ways. The first one is to be scared. And this is also normal, yeah? If you've been bitten by a dog or 2 dogs, you're gonna be scared of dogs. But if you've bitten by 10 dogs, you will avoid dog places for the rest of your life. The second path is inner misogyny, and this is something that happens in Russia a lot. So women blame other women for being too much, too loud, too sexy, that they were asking for it. It means wearing a white coat. I'm not like that. I'm a good woman, so nothing bad is going to happen to me. And the third type of reaction to misogyny, to violence, to abuse, is to be angry. And being angry is the most healthy reaction to violence. I'm speaking it from my own experience, and maybe there's some theory about PTSD. If something intense happened to you, if something traumatic happened to you, at first, the first reaction is shock. Then after that, after a while, you're gonna have a lot of different emotions. And anger is good at this stage, because anger will take you up from depression. If you're depressed, this is the first thing I recommend to people who are depressed. Obviously go to a therapist, but when you are depressed, make yourself angry, because anger is power. You will transform it later. So women who's living in fear, who were raped or abused or even sexually harassed, literally every woman has been sexually harassed. And I cannot even imagine a woman who's been sexually harassed just once. I don't know, in my life it happened thousands times. I cannot, it happens every day. Outside, inside, online. It doesn't matter. Of course, online it's even more of that, because online men are so brave. But they are also brave in real life. But this reaction is uncomfortable for men. When a woman speaks about her experience, she gets bashed. She gets banned for hate speech, for misandry. Because imagine, like, if you were raped, you are supposed to choose your words what to call your rapist. You're supposed to be careful. You're supposed to say it in a way so it doesn't offend other men, because not all men are. You know what? You have no moral right to tell the victim of rape, not all men are. That's a toxic phrase. Everyone knows that. At least statistically, not all men are. Yeah, that's true. Again, everyone knows that. But these are always men. And these are not random men. These are our fathers, our partners, our teachers, our friends who rape and kill. Women are literally thrown to build relationships with their natural predators. How would I know? Every man who invites me to come over says, I'm not like other men. I'm not gonna do anything bad to you. It's not written on your forehead. How would I know? Because these are always men. These are not women who do these things to us. Yeah, and speaking about the phrase, not all men are, I better assume that all men are, and it's gonna save my life. For example, if I'm coming back home at night, I better assume that all men are. If some man asks me, oh, the way, how do I know if he really wants to know the way somewhere, or he wants to rape me? I don't know. No one knows. And women are often too nice, too polite. But remember that your safety is more important than someone's feelings. Much more. I feel very uncomfortable, and I get it. That's not you, that's someone else. You're the good one. Why do you react so much when women speak about their experience and they say just about other men? And your first reaction is not to feel sorry for her or to be supportive, but to tell her not all men are. Because you make it about yourself. Because you want her to speak carefully, not to hurt your feelings. Fuck your feelings. There are so many of them. Not all men are, but there are too many. You know, there were these studies, a survey that shows that it's actually, there was like some university, they were students. It shows that each third man would rape a woman if there were no consequences. And I think that the number is too low, because even if the survey was anonymous, they still were afraid that they would see their result. They still couldn't admit it. This number, like 1/3, actually that proves the statistics, yeah, that each third woman is subjected to physical or sexualized violence, and only 1% of women have never been sexually harassed. I mean, who are they? I want to remind you that sexual harassment isn't just unwanted sexual attention. Because when you imagine that, like, oh, some woman came to you and she looked at you like this, like it's a sexual object, you cannot know what sexual harassment is, because again, that's not just sexual attention. That's also fear. We fear men. Like, when you come to us and we say no, which lots of women are afraid to do, you never know what's gonna happen after that. Maybe you're gonna walk away, or maybe you're gonna stalk me, or maybe you're gonna grab my butt, maybe you're gonna rape me or punch me. I don't know, that's not written on your face. That's the problem, and I wanted to understand this problem, that when you say not all men are, we don't know about that. I already made this example, but how do you think a woman feels in a room with 10 men? And now imagine how a man feels in a room with 10 women. And for you, in order to experience sexual harassment, it cannot be a woman, it has to be a man, preferably bigger and stronger than you. Like literally any place a woman goes to, she's never fully relaxed. She has to pay too much attention what's around. We are never fully safe. No men behave as if it's some local issue. Not me, that's not me. These are some men who are abusers, not me or anyone I know. Like if you ask a man, hey, do you know any rapist? He will say, no, of course not. If you ask a woman the same question, do you know anyone who's been raped? She will give you more than one options. Because usually a woman knows someone who was raped. Who rapes these women? Not you, not him, not your friends, not your fathers. Oh, these are probably some wolves sitting in the bushes waiting. That's like a litmus test. When I talk to a new man, when I start speaking about women's problems, and he says, but not all men are. That's like literally a big sign I am an ignorant asshole, because this type of ignorance, it becomes arrogance. I literally don't see any other reasons for misandry except misogyny. You can think of Freud's theory about women's envy for penis. Yeah, but you know, actually in real world, it works quite the opposite way. There are too many men with AGP, autogynephilia, who envy a vagina. They want to have a vagina and they get aroused thinking about that they have a vagina and that they are women. So they both envy women and they both are sexually attracted to women. That's interesting, actually. Okay, that's for another video. Yeah, let's keep talking about misandry. So the final goal of this everything I'm doing is not constant hate towards men. The goal is, yeah, to call them out, but also to make them feel responsible. Because sometimes you don't even know that you raped someone. Yeah, you just left her no choice. Like you brought a girl to a house. For example, the girl is a student. You brought her to your place and she's a poor student. She doesn't have money for a taxi. And you say, well, you can stay here. And like obviously in your bed, or you can walk away, or you can go home. But she doesn't have any money to go home, so she has to stay to sleep with you because it's safer than going outside. You are a rapist in this case. Whatever people do, whatever people speak about publicly, that's always based on some trauma. That's always based on some inner conflict that you are trying to solve with your father or your mother or whoever, yeah, someone who affected you a lot, me including, and that is fine. I just don't like when people try to deny that. I'm not trying to deny that, but I think that with women's experience it's a little bit different. You can tell a woman, oh, you hate men because just one man hurt you. That's always more than one man. Okay, let's imagine that it's one man. Let's imagine that someone, I don't know, like your father was abusing you, yeah? Or your stepfather was raping you for some years. And then you're a grown-up woman and you're supposed to like live your life. And all these people tell you, like, you have to trust men. Not all men are the same. Not all of them are bad. And you go to therapy. You work through this because you really think that, oh yeah, that's me who's broken. Yeah, that person broke me, but like his existence doesn't define the whole mankind. So you go to therapy and then you think that, oh, okay, maybe I'm fine, maybe I'm better, yeah, like after some years. And then you meet someone, but you get raped. How funny is that? Because again, each third woman. So yeah, that's so much more than just an inner conflict. But your inner conflict can work as fuel. Anger works as fuel if it's transformed. If it's not just pure barking, if it's transformed into something, oh my god, I hate the word positive, but I have to be positive here because again, I don't want to extend the conflict, but I think that the way to it, the decision that has to be taken is to teach men. Sorry, men do not deserve power. Like, we've had it already. Like, no, thank you. Teach men some group kind of responsibility. Because I noticed that only this type of approach works for others. When they understand that there is something inside them, something both socially and something biologically that makes them aggressive. Men are both creepy and genius. I actually, when I talk about matriarchy, men are like, we invented all that stuff. And men did invent a lot of stuff. And that's great. I'm not saying that men are useless. That's not true. I'm saying that men are aggressive. Men sometimes put their sexual urges higher than other people, women. And you have to think, like, maybe there is something inside me too. Maybe I also have to be more careful about what I do, how I treat other women, if I stop other men from making some funny jokes about rape. So that's one thing. When you work on yourself, when you just scan yourself a little bit more, when you notice the behavior of other men, and then a very important thing is how you speak to women when they talk about their experience. Shut up. Just, you either support or shut up. You don't say anything. You don't get defensive. You don't start blaming them and being misandrists. If you want to help, like if you really want to help, not just to argue with women, ask yourself, why do they fear us? Not other men, us. Why do they fear us? Why do they hate us? The most intelligent men I've met in my life, and the best men I've met in my life, ask themselves about this and would never say, oh, not all men are. They actually agree, because that's a real issue. And I'm just statistically, I'm right. Right, not that all men are, but right that it's a big issue. If you feel uncomfortable about the situation that women speak about their experience, and oh my god, they have their right to hate men for what men have been doing to them. If you feel uncomfortable about it, please address the source of the problem, not the outcome, not the consequences, not those who speak about it. Address the source of the problem.